First question, Vince in the back center.
Tyrese, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. When Miles, since the day he got here, pretty much he's been in trade rumors. And when you got here for Sabonis, it kind of opened things up for him in a way. Can you almost speak to knowing what it's like, kind of to be in his shoes and what he has meant to you, your sort of tandem since you guys have gotten here and risen through the East?
Yeah, I can't really speak on knowing what it's like to be in his shoes, honestly. I think since I've gotten here, he was hurt when I got here. And I think that he got to watch me play and felt like, the success that I was having, that if we were playing together, that it would be a lot more, So our first experience playing together has been, a lot of fun, and we feel like our synergy and our connection has just grown over time. We constantly are sending each other clips of how we can be better in pick and roll, how I can help him, how he can help me, whatever the case is. We get along really well, and I think that has given us a lot of success. And to be honest with you, when I first came to the league, and my big was Rashawn Holmes, and I love Rich. Rich was much more. He's not a pop guy. He's a roller. Has a really good floater push shot. And I always thought, in my career, I was going to be best with a guy who plays above the rim and a pick and real roll threat. Well, now having experience playing with Miles for so long, I feel like he just unlocks a lot more of what I do. And it's been an interesting dynamic to play a long time because Miles isn't this guy that's going to catch a ton of lobs or anything. We've probably thrown 3 alley-oops in the years we've played together. But, it's been really a lot of fun, a fun experience to play with him and get to know him better. And, it's different. Our league is different. He's a pop guy more times than not. But when he does roll, he really opens things up for me as well. So it's been a lot of fun.
Dyson, back left.
Dyson Daniels here, NBA correspondent. I was got a question. What goes into the mental game for you before a game like the finals, with the atmosphere and the build-up and stuff like that? And has anything changed for you from the regular season to the finals in your routine, or you try to keep it the same?
Nah, honestly, I try to approach everything the same way. I feel like if I try to do something different, I'm not superstitious or anything, but I feel like you just try to treat every game the same way, honestly. I still eat goldfish at 60 minutes on the clock. I still go to chapel. On the road, though, I don't go to chapel as much. I kind of do a private chapel session. That's really the only thing that I change. But yeah, everything's pretty much the same. Just try to treat it the same because the minute that I try to switch it up or put more pressure on myself or our group than there really is, or then that needs to be applied, then I feel like guys can get nervous or whatever the case is. Let's just be loose, play basketball.
In the front on your right, Jeff.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Tyrese, when someone's at your level, we often hear that there's not a defense you haven't seen. So I assume you've seen everything Oklahoma City is doing with you, but what makes them different? And how do you try to combat that in such high stakes here, game after game after game?
Yeah, I feel like at the point of attack, they got more guys than most teams in the NBA that are high level at the point of attack. They're really connected on the defensive end, and I feel like they mix up coverages. I think Coach Dagnall isn't afraid to just kind of do things on the fly. He doesn't do everything that's very traditional. He will, if you're trying to get a 33, he'll come double just out of nowhere. Then they've really done that all year. But I just feel like they're willing to mix things up, and I think the biggest thing is just personnel. Their personnel is different than everywhere else. But, I think playing 2 games against these guys is really good. It gives me more film to watch, see where I can be better. Feel like I haven't been great by any means through the first 2 games. So, I'm just trying to take what I can to prepare me for game 3 and just trying to be the best version of myself. So just keep watching film, see where I can get better. The answers always lie in the film.
Dustin, up front.
Hey, Ty. Keep going on that note, just how important is off-ball execution in these guys? Just to try to keep the swarming of the defense out of the paint.
Yeah, you got to mix things up. You can't give these guys the same dosage, the same look of anything. If you just try to run high pick and roll all game, they just crawl into you and really pack the paint and nothing's open. And so there's got to be a mix of things. Got to be off the ball, got to be playing off the pitch, got to be coming off ball screens, got to be you can't run the same thing consistently against these guys. You got to mix it up. So we got to do a much better job of that. I felt like I probably got caught in too many high pick and rolls, where they could really pack it in, and then we're getting shots late against the clock, especially in the first half of both games. So, we got to do a better job there, and that starts with me just getting us in better positions, playing out of different spots, all those things. So, definitely got to mix it up against these guys.
Joe up front here.
We saw you limping pretty good after game 2, and just a couple minutes ago, Rick confirmed that you were feeling some discomfort. Where are you feeling discomfort? What happened? And I assume you're good to go for game 3, but just if you could tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I'm fine. Really just a lower leg thing. I'll leave it at that. I don't think there's anything more to elaborate. I feel fine, and I'll be ready to go for game 3.
Jamal up front.
Tyrese, you and Rick, I think, have both talked about after the trade, you guys had a dinner. Rick basically put the ball in your hands. That's not always come easy for him or been sort of his ethos. Just what do you remember about that conversation, and to have a coach give you that kind of confidence and trust? Like what did that mean to you?
Yeah, I think when he told me that he didn't want to call. Well, really, the first dinner we ever had was when I first got traded here. Me, Buddy, Tristan, and him at Prime 47, and that was just more getting to know us, more things than not. And I think we just, especially that year, like we weren't very good. We weren't going to make the playoffs or anything. So more times than not, I feel like Coach really just was letting us play and learn as young guys, which I think is important. We played a lot of young dudes. So he was just it was like baptism by fire almost. There was a couple experiences that year where just had to figure out how we were going to be at our best. And then going into the following year, before training camp, he met with me and said that he didn't want to call plays anymore. And I was surprised because I know what the conversation around Coach was, especially from players and point guards specifically. And when he gave me kind of that nod, that was like the ultimate respect. That was like the ultimate trust that I could get from anybody, because he is such a brilliant basketball mind, has been around such great guards, great players. And so for him to give me that confidence, I think, it was really taking my career to another level. And, he's just a basketball savant. Like, he's just, we meet, we talk all the time. And I think he's really helped me learn how to watch film, which I think is important. I think that's something that's not talked about enough, like especially young basketball players. Like, you can just watch film, but if you're just watching and trying to find your highlights, then that's much different than really trying to dissect things. Like, I feel like when I first came in the NBA, I would like get them to clip my shots and clip my assists, and clip my counting stats. That doesn't really do anything. What are the possessions where I'm getting nothing, where I'm holding the ball for 15, 16 seconds, getting off it, and now somebody else has to make a play against the clock. And Coach has really helped me learn how to watch film the right way and watch the whole game, not just my minutes, watch the other minutes, see where I can help other guys. All that stuff is really important and really helped take my career, to another level. So really appreciative of him, and our relationship's going to continue to grow.
Michael up front.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. Ty, you guys only allowed 4 fast break points in game 2, and you've been excellent with your transition defense this entire season. Just what goes into being so effective in that area?
Just next play mentality. I feel like you could say that around, why we've had, these comebacks through the course of the year. You could just say, I think that we try not to dwell on things. I think as NBA players, or just as basketball players in general, it's easy to make a mistake and dwell on it and give up a bucket or whatever. But I feel like we do a great job of just getting to the next play. Coach always preaches that. It's really important here in our organization. So we just talk about that a lot. And honestly, if you make a mistake as a basketball player, the first response should be how to fix it, and more times than not, if you turn the ball over or make a dumb play offensively, if you get it back defensively, that kind of makes up for it a little bit, I guess. So, I feel like we've been good transition D all year. We've had a good series that way. We got to figure out how to be better in transition offensively. We got to figure that out as well. But I think we're doing a great job. Guys have taken charges. We've really hustled back and made them have to play, get back into actions and things. So I don't think there's really a scheme or anything. It's just that next play mentality that's important.
Thank you, Tyrese.
Appreciate it.